यो विष्णुपादपरमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की
जय
आनंद गौड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की
जय
आचार्य दास ठाकुर की प्रेम से
जय
कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की
जय
गो प्रेमानंदे
हरि हरि बोल।
गुरु गौर ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna. Welcome back to Srimad Bhagavatam study class. Today we are reading from Canto 1 Creation, Chapter 8 Prayers by Queen Kundi and verses 39 to 42. First we'll read 39. Na yam
यम
shovishyade
शोभिष्यते
tatra
तत्र
yatha
यथा
idanim
इदानीं
तदानीं
gadadara
गदाधर
त्वत्
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 not त्वत्
त्वत्
पादे
पादे
अंगिदा
अंगिता
भाति
भाति
स्वलक्षणा
स्वलक्षणा
विलक्षिते
विलक्षितै
नायं शोभिष्यते तत्र
न्यायं शोभिष्यते तत्र
वेदानीं गदाधरा
वेदानीं गदाधर
त्वत्पादे अंगिदा भाति
त्वत्पादे अंगिरा भाति
स्वलक्षणा विलक्षिते
स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै
नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र
न्यायं शोभिष्यते तत्र
यथेदानीं गदाधरा
यदेतानि गदाधर
त्वत्पादैरङ्गिता भाति
त्वत्पदैरङ्गिरा भाति
स्वलक्षणविलक्षितै
स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै
नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र
न्यायं शोभिष्यते तत्र
यथेदानीं गदाधरा
यदेतानि गदाधर
त्वत्पादैरङ्गिता भाति
त्वत्पदैरङ्गिरा भाति
स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै
स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै।
शैलजा माजी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न्यायं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेधानीं गदाधरा त्वत्पदै अंगिरा भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै। हरे कृष्ण।
जय श्री माजी। जय श्री माजी। जय श्री माजी। ओके मनोहरी माजी।
हरे कृष्ण। ज्ञेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यदेदानीं गदाधर त्वत्पदैरङ्गिता भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षिते। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा। यस शीला माजी।
हरे कृष्ण। नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यदादीनं गदाधरा त्वत्पादैरङ्कित भातिर् स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितै। हरे कृष्ण।
मिलिंदा माजी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेदानीं गदाधर त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति Swalakshana vilakshite. Hare Krishna.
Right, you can read.
Hare Krishna. Na, not Iyam, this land of our kingdom, Shobhishyate will appear beautiful. Tatra, then, Yatha, as it is now, Idanim, how, Gadadhara, O Krishna, Tvat, your, Padhe, by the Ankita, mark, Bhati, is dazzling, Swalakshana, your own marks, Vilakshite, by the impressions. Translation: O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impression of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, thunderbolt, an instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc., are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was thus marked while Lord Krishna was there with the Pandavas, and the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kunti Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 40. Ime Janapadaha
Janapadaha
Swardhaha
Sardhaha
Subakwa
Rupakwa
Upakwa
Aushadhi
Aushadhi
Virudha
Viruddha
Mana
Vana
Agri
Adri
Nadi
Nadi
Udvanmanda
Udanmando Udanmando
Ki
Ki
Edhante
Edante
Tava
Tava
Vikshidai
Ikshidai
Me Janapadaha Swardha
Ime Janapadaha Swardha
Janapadaha
Subhagaushadhi Virudha
Upaushadhi Virudha
Vanadrinadya Udavanto
Vanadya Udavanto
Yedande Tavikshidai
Hedante
Idante
Tavavishti
Tava Vikshite
Ime Janapadaha Swardha
Ime Janapadaha Swardha
Janapadaha
Subhagaushadhi Virudha
Subhakaushadhi
Upaushadhi
Virudha
Virudha
Vanadri Nadi Udvanto
Vanadri Nadu
Yedande Tavikshidai
Hedante
Edante Tava
Tavavishti
Vikshidai
Ime Janapadaha Swardha
Janapadaha
Janapadaha
Swardha
Swardha
Subhakaushadhi Virudha
Subhakaushadhi
Upaushadhi
Virudha
Virudha
Vanadri Nadi Udvanto
Vanadri
Vanadri
Nadu
Nadi Udvanto
Yedande Tavikshida
Hedante
Yedante Tava
Tavavishti
Vikshita
Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ime Janavada Sridva Subhakoshadhi Viruda Panadirnadi Udvanvando Hedande Tava Vishidai. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो
Krishna.
भगवते वासुदेवाय इमे जनपदा श्रद्धा सुभक्तौषधिविरुधा वनाद्रिनाद्युतन्वन्दो ह्येत्यन्दे तव वीक्षिते हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्णा इमे जनपदा श्रद्धाः सुभक्षौषधिविरुदाः वनाद्रीनदी बन्धो हि एदन्ते तव वीक्षितैः
Amindamaji.
Hare Krishna. Ime janapada vriddaha supakvaushadda iddahi virudaha vanadri nadya uddanvanto hi edante tava vikshitehe. Hare Krishna.
Right. Yes. Sri Kalamaji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ime janapadas, sorry, mute alla.
Swardha.
Hare Krishna. Ime janapada Shraddha Subhakshaushadi Virudha Vanadri Nadi Udanvando
Dwanvando.
Udanvando
Dwanvando, yes.
Hiedante Tava Vikshidaha. Krishna.
Vikshite.
Ime all these Janapada cities and towns. Shraddha flourished.
Good.
Supakwa mature. Aushadi herbs. Viruddha vegetables. Vana means forests. Adri hills. Nadi rivers. Udanvanta seas. He certainly. Edante increasing. Tava by you. Vikshitaha seen. Translation. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of the human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be the unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few will only can live lavishly by exploitation. The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish them on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse or killing of poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should we should hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are uh, just to the point. The indications of Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. Hare Krishna.
Verse 41. Atha
Adantha
Vishwesha
Vishvesha
Vishwatman
Vishwatman,
Swamurte,
Vishwamurte,
Swakeshu,
Svakeshu,
Me,
Me,
Hapasham,
Mehapasam,
Pasham
Imam,
Imam,
Chindi,
Chindi,
Dridam,
Dridam,
Pandushu,
Pandushu,
Vrishnishu,
Vishnishu,
Ada Vishveshwa Vishwatman,
Ada
Vishwatman
Shamurte Sokeshu Me,
Vishwamurte Keshume
Shamurte Sokeshu Me,
Vishamurte,
Snehapashamimam
Keshu
Chindi,
Snehapasam,
Imam Chindi
Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu.
Dridam,
Dridam
Pandushu,
Pandushu Vrishnishu.
Sarjamaji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं चिन्ति दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु। हरे कृष्णा।
Shrimaji.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं छिन्दि दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Ada Vishwesha Vishwatman Vishwamurte Sokeshu Me Snehapasham Imam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Atha Vishvesha Vishwatman.
Shriklamaji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Atha Vishvesha Vishwatman Vishwamurte
Yes.
Swakeshu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Vishwamurte Swakeshu me Snehapashamimam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vrishnishu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Right. Yes, Mataji.
May I read, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Atha
Yes. You cannot hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman
Yeah.
Vishvamurte Swakeshu me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Dradam Pandusu Vrishnishu. Hare Krishna. Atha, therefore,
Hare Krishna.
Vishva Isha, O Lord of the universe, Vishva Atman, O soul of the universe, Vishvamurte, O personality of the universal form, Swakeshu, unto my own kinsmen, may my Sneha Pasham, tie of affection, Imam, this, Shindi, cut off, Dridam, deep, Pandushu, for the Pandavas, Vrishnishu, for the Vrishnis also. Translation: O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. A pure devotee of the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest from the Lord. But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by the tie of family affection. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and therefore she prayed to the Lord to cut off the affectionate tie from her own kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. The Pandavas are her own son, and the Vrishnis are the member of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both the families. Both the families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. A pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all forgotten souls. The typical example is the band of 6 Goswamis who follow the path of Lord Chaitanya. All of them belong to the most enlightened and cultured rich families of higher caste. But for the benefit of the mass of population, they left their comfortable homes and became mendicants. To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a Brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. The personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this by example. Sri Ramachandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a Brahmana, a devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad minded in discharging their respective duties. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears a path for his going back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I will take the next verse tomorrow. It's time now. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chachurunmeridam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanyamanovistam Sthavidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadadi Supadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsam Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijanasaidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishagan Vidamsam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने शिवाश भानवी देवी दैत्याय कृपाब्दे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योजल प्रेमाढ्य रूपानुगा भक्तिदा गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपान गौर माधुर्योज्ल प्रेमाढ्य रूपानुग भक्तिदा गौरशक्ति निग्रहाय नमस्ते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी नमो भक्ति विनोदाय भक्ति गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजये ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सचिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भवमे संनिर्देष्टा सज्जन प्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौमौ श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः श्रीरूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्रीजीव गोपाल भट्टा दास रघुनाथ एचाय घोषाय परिचरण बंदन जहाँ मोते विज्ञानाश अभीष्ट पूरण वाचा कल्पद्रुवस्य कृपा सिंधुभिः च
पतितानां।
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Namo Mahadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurashe Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashak He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Govesha Goviga Kanda Radha Kanda Namastude Jedam Sirido Pangor Mama Mandamade Kadi Mat Sarvasubadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrimada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Shira Govinda Devo Preshthalevi Sevyamano Smarami Sriman Rasarasarambi Vamshi Vadattadasiddha Kashan Venu Sunair Gopi Govinada Shyetanam Tapta Ganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yadhedanim gadadhara totpaderangida bhati sulakshana vilakshidai. O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. So here, Kunti Mataji is beseeching Krishna not to leave her and go back to Dwaraka. Somehow she wants to retain him in Hastinapuram so that they can always take darshan of Krishna every day. So this should be the desire of every living entity, that somehow or other we should have the darshan of Krishna every day. That's why Srila Prabhupada has so nicely arranged the devotional service within ISKCON, starting from Mangalarati. Mangalarati, we have this first darshan of the Lord, and finally ending with Shayanarati, having the last darshan of the Lord. So in that day, you have for several times take darshan of the Lord, do the aratis. So you developed an affection for Krishna. Especially it's said by Vishwanath Chakravarti that the pujaris should invariably be grihasthas. The grihastha, there is sex life, and the grihasthas are attracted to sex. But when pujari is continuously looking at Krishna, whenever he is doing arati, he'll be attracted by the beauty of Krishna so much that he will decrease his sexual appetite, trying to see beauty in his wife and trying to enjoy that because he has developed the higher taste. So this is the attraction of taking daily darshan of Krishna. You can get out of a big maya in the form of sexual appetite and sexual desires, which will ultimately keep the jivas bonded in this material world. So Kunti Devi is beseeching Krishna in previous verses 36, 37, and 38 to stay with us for some more time. In the last verse, it is very clearly said that without you, we are lifeless, like fish out of water. Just like the senses are useless in the absence of consciousness. So here, this verse, Kunti Devi describes the beauty of Krishna's lotus feet. Comparisons have been made with the lotus flower, which is the most beautiful object in the material world. And it has got a very nice fragrance. The fragrance of other flowers like jasmine, of course, very nice flower, very nice fragrance is there, jasmine, and like other flowers are there. But the fragrance of lotus is so light. It's so light, but it's so transcendental also. If it's a fresh lotus flower, it attracts the mind. So the lotus feet of Krishna, it is said that there are so many marks. I don't remember how many, 16 or 17. You can go to this and take out the and lotus feet of Krishna. There will be so many marks. Somebody can share that if you want, if you wants. Like that, the marks on the feet of Radharani also, as well as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. They are having marks on the lotus feet. And this marks makes impression on the soft soil of Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka, wherever Krishna is there, wherever he is walking in these main cities, wherever he was. The dust became imprinted with the marks of Krishna's lotus feet. Likewise, in that way, Hastinapuri was also marked the Lord Krishna's lotus feet, marks the lotus feet when he stayed with the Pandavas. And because of that, Hastinapura flourished. It's both having brings material opulence as well as transcendental opulence also. So Hastinapura flourished when as long as Krishna was there. But now Kunti Devi is very perturbed and she is very afraid that once Krishna goes away, all these good things will disappear. And Hastinapura will deteriorate in the absence of Krishna. So this is another plea by Kunti Devi to stay. Please continue to stay with us. Please don't go away. So devotees also don't want Krishna to go away from their mind. Yeah, I can share, Mataji. It's good.
Yes,
Notice it a lot.
yes, Prabhuji, that's the link to the
Yeah, I mean,
sheet. Yeah, the description.
I can't. Maybe we have to do it later. Also, it's not okay. Thank you. You
Hare-
can post a group also,
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll share.
right? And so in next verse, she continues to go in that vein. Ime Janapada Sudha Subhagaushada Virdha Vanadinadya Udanmando Hiedande Tava Vikshide. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So she's now speaking of gifts from God. These are the natural gifts. A lot of herbs and grains, paddy fields, wheat fields, full of grains, herbs necessary for medicines, necessary for keeping your health, and trees are all full of flowers and fruits. Rivers are flowing, so there is abundant of water. There is no scarcity of water. Water is flowing like in everywhere. And the hills are full of minerals, very, very valuable minerals. Like we see in the 10th canto, Krishna speaks about the wealth of Govardhana. Govardhana is full of minerals. So Krishna is asking another Gopa that because you stop worshipping Indra because you are worshipping a wrong person. You should worship a person who is giving you all the benefits, all kinds of facilities, because we are all Vaishyas. Cow protection is there. Cow protection, for cow protection, Govardhana has a very good juicy grass. When the cows eat this juicy grass, the udders will be full of milk. These hills, the Govardhan hills, have got a lot of abundant of minerals and gems. And being Vaishyas, they can trade by taking these gems and other valuable stones and valuable minerals that is available in Govardhan hills. So this is a natural way of conducting your life, or how to uh, maintain your existence very naturally by receiving gifts from God, gifts from nature, rather than uh, doing some huge industrialization, producing mass productivity, mass products in lakhs, millions, and crores. It becomes so mechanical. This industrialization, the effect of this industrialization becomes so mechanical that you become so dull-brained. There's a very nice movie of Charlie Chaplin, I think. Srila Prabhupada used to love Charlie Chaplin. Whenever he was flying, if there is a movie they put Charlie Chaplin, Srila Prabhupada, he says, the devotee said that he will laugh throughout. Because then somebody asked, why you are moving, seeing movies? Then Srila Prabhupada said, Charlie Chaplin is so original. He's very philosophic and very original also. If you see the few movies of Charlie Chaplin, in one such movie, uh, Charlie Chaplin is ridiculing the industrialization. He is working as an industrial worker, where he is. It's a cloth in the cloth factory, or maybe skirts of ladies or something like that. And his whole work is specialization. In industrialization is specialization only. A person will be interested only one work, another person will be interested in one work, so that this person will be concentrating only on that work, then that there'll be productivity will increase. So his job was to cut the buttons. The clothes will flow from this what do you call this rollers, and when it comes to him, he'll just cut the buttons. That is his job. So when after finishing job one day, he was going out after our factory, Then he saw one lady coming opposite to him, and she was wearing a coat with buttons in the front. And immediately Charlie Chaplin took out his scissors, started to cut this button. This is ridiculing the industrialization. It becomes so mechanical. Life becomes very dull and quite unnatural also. And what happens? Only few people become very wealthy. In the Purusharthas, we have economic development. Economic development, as you know, comprises two parts. One is production, another is distribution. You produce a lot of wealth, but when it is not distributed uniformly, it will create social havoc, disturbances. The whole wealth is held by a few percentage of people, maybe 5% or 10% of people enjoying 80% of the wealth, while 80% of the people are enjoying only 20% of the wealth. So the origin of communism was due to this unfairness in the distribution of wealth. So it creates a lot of friction within the society, within the nations, and between nations. So it is always better to depend on the natural gifts of the nature. And the second defect of this industrialization is that whenever we are trying to exploit the nature, we become more and more entrapped in the reaction of such exploitative nature. We don't know that. We are only interested in enjoyment, and we don't know the nature rules of nature, laws of nature. Laws of nature is a reactionary effect. The more you try to exploit the nature, the more you are entrapped. And one of the most harmful way of exploiting the nature is to kill innocent animals for your taste buds. You're killing, slaughtering defenseless, innocent animals who cannot defend themselves. So instead of that, human society has got sufficient grains, minerals, etc., water, milk, grains. Then there is no need to hunger for this industry entrepreneurship, and creates a lot of misery also. It is said that in the the 150 or 200 years of East India Company's colonization of many countries, including India, millions of people who are in the colony countries, like Indians, for example, suffered like anything. The only interest of this East India Company was to promote their economic products. They'll take all the raw materials from India and make finished goods in England, and then again bring it back, export it back to India, and take money from Indians. So this is another point of exploitation. But here, when people are very attracted to Krishna, when they are in sattvic mode, not in rajasic or tamogun, when the sattvic mode is prevailing, then people more and more depend on Krishna and try to lead a very nice, peaceful, and happy life by always being attached to Krishna. The fear in the firm belief that Krishna will look after not our material needs, but facilitate us so that we can advance more and more in Krishna consciousness. And so finally she says, Ada Vishwesha Vishwatman Vishwamurte Sokeshu me Snehavashamimam Chindi Dridam Pandishu Vrishnishu. Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. So, Krishna is actually going away. When he is going away from Hastinapura, Pandavas suffer. When he is coming to Hastinapura, Yadavas suffer. And Queen Kunti is attached both to both the Kulas, because she's the mother of Pandavas, and from her parents' side, father's side, she's from Yadava dynasty only. So she's attached both to Pandavas as well as Yadavas. And she now feels that this attachment is creating an obstruction, an obstacle in the path of devotion service to Krishna. Because now she says that when you go away from Hastinapura, all the wealth, all the opulence of Hastinapura will diminish. Because as a mother of Pandavas, she wants her sons to enjoy a very opulent kingdom. So that means she is attached to Pandavas, her sons, whom she wants to enjoy a very opulent kingdom. So she is very intelligent to understand that because of this attachment to Pandavas, attachment to Krishna is not taking place. Or rather, is not taking place firmly when Ananya will come later. In the verse again, it will come Ananya Vishaya. Without, it's unaligned means without having any other thing as obstructions. So she wanted Krishna to cut off this affection, bodily related affection. Of course, in the next verse we will see that actually Pandavas and Yadavas are actually devotees only. So if you are severing the connection with devotees, naturally you'll be severing connection with Krishna also. But Kunti Devi is making very specific here that I am not asking for cutting off the relationship of devotion with Pandavas, but rather a material attachment with Pandavas. Like I think, like she was telling that Asnapur is very opulent. When you are here, when you go away, the opulence will be diminished. So that is a bodily related thinking and bodily related relationships. So she wants that kind of relationship to come to an end. For that, you should have a strong attachment to Krishna. Actually, renunciation means exclusively dedicated to Krishna and indifferent in what that stands in the way of his service. In the Narada Bhakti Sutra, it is very nicely explained in Sutra 9. Says that Tasmin Ananyada Tad Viredeshu Udasinata cha. Tasmin means in Krishna, for him. Tasmin, for him, Ananyada. Ananyada means exclusive dedication. So for Krishna, there should be exclusive dedication. Nothing should stand between us and Krishna, between us and our affection for Krishna. And how it is possible? Tad viredeshu udasinada. Tad viredeshu udasinada. Those things which are opposed, indifferent. We should be indifferent to all those things which are opposed to deep-rooted, exclusive devotion for Krishna. In Sharanagati, it says, Anukulyana Sankalpa Pratikulasya Vikalpa. Sometimes, because of mixed devotion, these things happen. We are attached to Krishna, we are attached to our bodily relationships also. And when that happens, our devotion becomes mixed. Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. There are so many mixed devotions are there. And in the devotion service also, this happens. The devotion service also can be executed in these three modes: Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So, Srila Prabhupada has explained this aspect in Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, verse 10, 3.29.10. He says, devotion service in the modes of ignorance, passion, and goodness can be divided into 81 categories. There are different devotional activities such as hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, offering prayers, rendering service, and surrendering everything. And each of them can be divided into three categories. There is hearing in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance, and in the mode of goodness. Similarly, there is chanting in the modes of ignorance, passion, goodness, etc. Which means we know the devotion services, otherwise named as termed as Navada, 9 types of devotion service. And these 9 types of devotion service can be executed in each of these modes, in each of these gunas, Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So then it becomes 81 different types of mixture of devotion service. So this happens. Mostly our devotion is in the mode of passion only. If you very carefully observe ourselves, you can see that our devotion is mostly in the mode of passion only. Because we start with a lot of enthusiasm, and sometimes this enthusiasm wanes midway. So if you really Ananya Bhakta, then one has to transcend all the mixed materialistic devotional service, and then only we can reach the standard of pure devotional service. So Kunti Mataji is very much aware of this. So she is praying to Krishna to cut off this affectionate tie. So the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada cuts off all his material relationships and focuses completely his activities of devotional service for the forgotten souls. Srila Prabhupada says, once in his purport, I think in the verse 17 of 17, I think 17 or 20 of verse of second chapter, he says that one should take sannyasa only when you have great attraction for Krishna, greatest attraction for Krishna, and great compassion for the fallen souls. So this is for preaching. And the foremost preachers are our own Shad Goswamis. Each of them are born in a very cultured, sattvic families, full of opulence, wealth, education, physical beauty, everything was there for them. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were ministers. Raghunath Goswami was the son of the richest Janmi landlord. Like that, everyone is coming from a very cultured background. But they leave all these things. They left all these things for the benefit of mass of population. The very first verse of Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Anybody knows Shad Goswami Ashtakam? Now, last 3 months, we are reciting this Shad Goswami Ashtakam every day after Mangalarti. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premambudeo Dimnadi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Yugo Nirmal Saro Pujido Shri Chaitanya Prabhavaro Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarago. See, these Shad Goswamis, they are Nirmalsra, they don't have any envy at all. They are both they are acceptable both for the sober persons, also not for the sober persons. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premambuto Nidhi. So they are always chanting and singing about the pastimes of Krishna. Dhira Dhira Priyagaro. They are very favorable, they are very favorite both for Dhira, sober, as well as not sober. Nirmal Saro Pujido, and they are not at all envious of others. And what is the purpose? Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhui Bhuo Bharavahantarako. Distributing the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, reducing the burden of common people in the form of reducing, who is carrying a big load of karma. So they are destroying this karma by distributing the Chaitanya Prema. So that is so munificent. These Shad Goswamis are so munificent and compassionate. So this is pure devotees for us. So Srila Prabhupada says, such personalities as Brahmana, devotee, king, or public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. They should be very broad-minded, means they should include everyone, be fair to everyone, and not looking at anyone's qualifications. They should distribute Krishna consciousness. And that can happen only when you perfect yourself by severing off sentimental attachment with the family members. And Kunti Devi is very intelligent. She knows the reason why she is not able to focus exclusively on Krishna is that because of her material affection for her sons as well as for her the family from of her father. So when she prays to Krishna, when somebody prays to Krishna, Krishna will ensure that he'll snap off this relationship when we're having with this family members or societies. And when you are being reduced in wealth, nobody will care for you. And then you will turn completely to Krishna. So this is the plan of Krishna only. Because by doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him. And this clears the path of going back to Godhead. So this is arrangement of Krishna. And that is only for, especially for devotees, only pure devotees, only who completely desires nothing else. Anyabhirashita shunyam. Anyabhirashita shunyam. Jnana karma anavrutam. Anukulena sankalpa. Anukulena krishnanushilanam. Bhakti uttama uchyate. Uttama bhakti uchyate. This is the highest devotion. Without having any other desire except to serve Krishna. Not mixed with empiric knowledge or fruity desires. Discharging the devotional service should be favorable to Krishna. This is the highest devotion. And we should all pray to Krishna that we receive this highest. And for that we have to constantly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandasana Prabhu. Vancha.
Any clarifications? Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhesya.
Vishya Kribhat Sindhubhya Evaja. Padidhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Nandakodi Vaishnavruddha Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.